happy to welcome you back to another episode of our Founder Spotlight. And in this episode, I'm absolutely delighted to introduce you to TJ Ferrara and Sharon Leite, entrepreneurs, athletes, and the founders of BUBS Naturals. Hello, Sharon and TJ, and welcome to Founder Spotlight. We're so glad you're with us today.
How's it going? Thanks for having us.
I'd love to hear from you guys on how you joined forces to create BUBS. How did you come together?
Well, in early 2017, my wife bought me a tub of collagen protein. She's a newscaster and she did a news segment and had learned about this new thing called collagen. So she brought me home a tub and she said, I want you to start taking this because you're not getting any younger and I need to preserve you. We had just had our son. That's tough love right there. I put a scoop of it in my coffee in the morning. So 1 scoop of collagen in my coffee, then 2 scoops of collagen. After about 3 weeks, my fingernails were growing like I was the Wolverine. I mean, I felt like, where are the nail clippers? Yeah. And when you're a guy, you really notice that stuff. And then I needed a haircut. And all of a sudden I'm a month in and I'm reading the side of the jar and it says hair, skin, nails. And I just became a fan. I was going to be a customer of the product. I had no aspirations to start a company until TJ came over. So he popped over to the house a couple months later, sees the jar of collagen on my counter, and he says, oh, you take that stuff? And I just start raving about how great I feel, and I'm squatting again, and I'm running again, and everything feels awesome. And he just looks at me and he says, well, let's start a company.
Well, let's talk about this little company called BUBS. Wonderful story about the name. Can you share that with our viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. So right in that same moment that TJ said, let's start a company, we sort of gave pause and we said, well, what would that look like? And we looked at each other and had one of those like great spark moments. At the exact same time, we both said, well, whatever we do, we have to do something cool for charity. That was the baseline for us to do anything together in business. And I just lit up like a Christmas tree because I knew the charity. So, and this is kind of the pause moment where I start talking about who Glen BUB Doherty was. And Glen BUB Doherty was my oldest best friend going back to middle school in Massachusetts. And we moved out to the mountains of Utah together. We were ski bums together, all these great life adventures. And Glen truly was the life of the party. He would walk into a room and just light it up. And when we were both turning 25, Glen said, you know, I don't think I can ski bum forever. I think I'm going to join the Navy and become a Navy SEAL. And sure enough, he went from ski bum to Navy SEAL inside of 12 months. So fast forward 10 years, Glen and I are roommates again, best friends. And Glen is contracting for the Central Intelligence Agency, providing security details, a very dangerous job, but a natural transition out of active duty life in the SEAL teams. Glen was killed in Benghazi, Libya in the fall of 2012. So you might remember the terrorist attacks on 9/11 in 2012. 4 Americans were killed. Glen was one of the 2 Navy SEALs that was killed, saving all those lives. So when TJ and I paired up and we said, well, we have to do something cool for charity, it had to be Glen's charity, the Glen Doherty Memorial Foundation, which was a military charity that was set up primarily to help special operators and their families with scholarships to transition out of active duty to civilian life. Essentially, it's to fill gaps in the GI Bill.
When I talk to a lot of veterans, they say that's one of the biggest challenges they have is when they come home. What an amazing legacy you both are leaving. How do you guys set yourselves apart in terms of, you know, the quality ingredients that you use, the benefits, the solutions that consumers are looking for in BUBS versus all the other collagens that are out there?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. One of the biggest opportunities and, you know, one of the things that TJ and I tried to address was it started with a question. Does the world need another collagen brand? And our answer to that at the time was, well, no, but maybe the world needs a brand that's doing things a little bit different. And if you're going to put your best friend's name on the jar of your packaging, you better make sure that the integrity of the product inside of it is absolutely at the peak of performance. So for us, it started with sourcing. We wanted to be in a conflict-free area. That's why we source from Uruguay and southern Brazil. So we're thousands of miles away from the Amazon rainforest. We wanted to make sure that we were grass-fed and pasture-raised, because that in turn creates a happy cow. Happy cow equals happy collagen in the most simplest terms. And then we wanted to make sure we had the best flavor profile on the market, bar none, and the best solubility. So then we decided, hey, what's the highest level of accreditation that we can pursue on every single jar of collagen that we make? And that was the NSF for Sport certification. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we went after it and we said, look, we don't even know if we're going to pass this thing, but we're going to submit for it. And we passed. And so we proudly NSF certify for Sport every single collagen jar, all of our unflavored collagens. And we're the only brand that we know of that takes that all the way through. The second thing that we did past that was we went and pursued the Whole30 approved diet accreditation. And if you know the Whole30 approved diet, you know it's very, very stringent, very, very restrictive. And we are proudly one of only 2 brands in the world that bears the Whole30 mark.
Yeah, right here on the front.
There you go. So for us, it was really about performance, quality, integrity, and making sure that we could stand up against any brand out there on the market in that crowded landscape and know that we not only stood for more, but it was going to perform better.
So, TJ, what are you most proud of? Everything you guys have done, what kind of stands out? What are you most proud of?
It's not the success we've had in terms of revenue. It's not the amount of doors we've opened. And it's not the amount of customers we've had in terms of volume. It's the people that we've met along the way, the people we've connected with. Man, it makes it worth it top down. Like, we have met some really, really cool people, and we've been able to help some really, really cool people out. And if this thing went away tomorrow, we've had a success.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate you both being with me today to share your inspiring story with all of our viewers. And I want to thank all of our viewers for being with us today on this edition of Founder Spotlight. Thank you all very much. We look forward to seeing you next time. Take care and stay well. Bye, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.